Oh, yeah, and Fraporti just right up into him. I don't know if Fraporti had his spotter on, wasn't talking spotter. Wow, that is just awful, just awful.
That looks like a major misjudgment on Fraporti's part there. There was definitely a car to his outside, and it's up there, and it causes a massive wreck. It takes out Eckert, Fraporti, Jesper Orman, who started P2. Matthew Mercer was also a victim of circumstance in it, as well as a few other cars. I think I saw, trying to see who else that was. I think I saw Stephen Lee get involved in contact there as well. But this has just been an absolutely chaotic start that it seems like has gone missed on the broadcast, sadly. But looking at the running order, Adriano Pinheiro still leading, of course. James Kennedy goes from 5th to 2nd, with the 3 cars in front of him took each other out. Mark Murphy, Trace Shadid, and Drew White now make up the top 5.
Yeah, so it looks like those with significant issues, Eckert is already out. Fraporti is currently showing with an extended pit stop on pit road. Mercer the same way. Orman the same way. Edson Jose also with an extended stop. But Shimizu looks like he came in just to top off his tank. But everybody from Lee on back, Lee, Ribeiro, Garcia, Powers, Hamelink, they all stopped during the caution to top off tanks, get new tires, whatever, showing, and maybe it was not wise to get new tires because punctures don't really impact here in fixed, but I'm showing some might have had some slight damage too with the 13.9 second stop, for instance, for Powers. But we're getting ready to go green. Everybody from 14 on up did not stop, and we are green again.
Pinheiro off with the launch. James Kennedy trying to stay with him, trying to make the best of an opportunity given to him. Murphy and Shadid all tucking the line behind him. We got ourselves into single file cruising for most of the pack. Meanwhile, behind them, I'm seeing Stephen Lee, Curtis Kelly, and Gil Ribeiro and DL Lemon battling it out just outside and just towards the rear of the top 15.
Yeah, DL Lemon, and he's just smoking everybody on the bottom right now in turns 3 and 4, and he's getting ready to go 3 wide through the tri-hole area and picking up another position. But DL Lemon and a couple other guys started from the back, and they decided to go with no time. And I'm willing to bet that they were kind of expecting the big one, but not that early. And it has paid off for DL Lemon, who has worked his way up 12 spots up to P12, and he's knocking on the door of the top 10 right now as we speak.
Beautifully played so far by DL Lemon up to P12. He's now got Cristiano Benevento and Frank Irwin Jr. in front of him. Benevento starting in particular to fall back in this pack there. Ooh, looks like nearly some contact there. I believe that was Curtis Kelly and Logan Powers, who also both started without qualifying times, 22nd and 23rd. Now they're running in 15th and 16th. Ooh, almost contact there with Stephen Lee drifting up off of turn numbers 3 and 4. That is very, very hairy there. Of course, Kentucky Speedway, very different at both ends of the track, and 3 and 4 is the one where you have to pick your line carefully, more so than 1 and 2.
And actually, you're going to probably see a lot of drivers late in the stint, and maybe even midway through the stint as these tires go off, shifting to turns 3 and 4 to keep those revs up.
Probably so, and of course you want to keep your revs up, especially if you're in the going mode. There is Drew White. Now Drew White and Felipe Radicic battling it out for P5 right now. Radicic to the outside now of that number 21 machine. Can he get the momentum off? No, not quite. I don't think. That bottom line working right now for Drew White.
Radicic in that Oreo livery painted up by our man Dakota DeMay.
Beautiful Oreo scheme. Dakota, of course, makes some very, very nice paint schemes. You see them all the time when he races. I recommend them a try if you haven't yet.
Yeah, and you can pick that up on Trading Paints there. He's got that for free for public use. But Philip is in P5, your top 5 right now. Here's Fraporti, and he really hasn't gotten away because Kennedy and Murphy are side by side. Yep, they are side by side going through 3 and 4. Who's got the better, faster line? The higher line actually looks like it is working out to be the faster line. Right behind Murphy is his teammate, Trace Shadid. They're going to work together to try to make up some distance here.
Indeed, and James Kennedy looking to take advantage of Pinheiro. Pinheiro, of course, has not pulled away from all this, and this is one of the reasons I was saying that this may be a closer affair than a lot of people may have given it credit for. The colder track temp helps as well, but I think also the setup is also keeping this pack close together. It's not exactly old-style IRL racing, where you're going too wide for life pretty much the entire race, but it is still a pretty close thing, and if a minor error happens, as I'm guessing it almost happened.
We got a big battle here between Cesar Cabral and DR Lemon. This is for P9. Lemon has worked his way up into the top 10. Cabral clawing back, and following Lemon this time through is Logan Powers in that all-black car. Again, Logan also started at the rear of the field, and these two here are working their way up.
Austin is out.
One at a time.
Oh, big crash in front of him. Is that AJ Musselman's in it?
Oh,
it's AJ
AJ.
Musselman and John Silva's the other car. They were battling it out for 7th.
Another IAR car into the wall. Not a good night for IAR.
Nightmare scenario for them, and looking at it.
Oh, and this is probably going to come back on Silva. Let's ride on Silva's roll bar. I think he might have caught the apron a little bit.
He probably did.
Two things there: either caught the apron or didn't know AJ was that close. Let's hitch a ride on AJ's car here in just a moment, and let's see what AJ saw from his point of view. Let's get the graphics off the screen there. That will help show a little bit more.
That was rather strange. Silva did indeed get his left side tires on the apron, but he seemed to straight line it when he did so.
He went right up. I don't know. It didn't look like AJ was going down, but he looked like he went right up on AJ.
Very bizarre incident there.
And I was just getting ready to say, I know it was early, but I was getting ready to say the good luck of AJ Musselman right now, because he normally, in those early wrecks, he's in them. And, well, I'm glad I didn't give him the jinx this time, because a few laps later, he is in the wall.
Well, the commentator's curse decided to preempt itself, I guess.
Preemption, yeah. So, on that time by, let's see, we had Stephen Lee and Ribeiro, Freddie Udo Garcia, and Cody Eldred hit pit road one more time to get top-offs. And if they change tires, hopefully none of them change tires. Because, again, we have tire limits here in the Indy Fix Series. Only 3 sets. You start on a set, then you have 2 more in the pits. And I would imagine here, late in the race, if there's a late caution, a new set of tires might be a nice commodity to have.
I would imagine so. And coming in on that first stop, I'm hoping they had their tires checked off from their options when they come into the pits, so that they can save them for later. Of course, we only have 2 sets of tires for this race, and I can imagine later on in the going, especially if you get a long green flag run later on, they're going to want to come in and take the freshest rubber they possibly can, either to preserve the position or to gain it.
Yeah, going through and checking each off one of those tires can be, especially at speed, can be a little difficult. I have that app that helps make that a little bit easier. But whatever you use and you choose, making sure they do wise tire management, not just on the racetrack but in the pits, can be a difference between a win, a podium, or just outside the top 10 altogether.
Thankfully, I've seen with the IndyCar particularly that you can check or uncheck all 4 tires with one selection. Actually, it's all the tires get selected and get changed, or none do with the IndyCar. So you can't pull a clever little strategy taking right side tires only anymore. But it does make it a lot simpler, especially if you're scrambling for buttons to get those adjustments done. Still behind the pace car, likely for one more lap. It'll be lap number 18 of 75 when we come back to green. Lap 19, I'll say, once we actually take the green. Of course, we have one more lap, and that will be lap 18.
Now, it's still a little early, but if we have a lot more caution, it's still a little early. If you pit now and you get a couple more cautions between now and the end, you might be able to make it. You're about 8 laps early if we went green the whole time from the window really opening up. 75 laps on these mile-and-a-halfs. 25 laps is really when that window opens. You get about 50 laps on a tank. So if somebody wanted to maybe play the mileage game now, maybe even those guys that pitted and have pitted twice and topped off twice might be able to squeeze it out. We'll see. That's going to be interesting as we get going here. Everybody getting into launch positions. Your top 5: Pinero, Kennedy, Murphy, Shadid, and Radicek.
Very good start from a lot of the guys up there in the top 5. Radicek started 10th, currently 5th after just 18 laps. DL Lemon 24th to 7th. Cesar Cabral 18th to 8th. Logan Powers 22nd to 9th, and Frank Irwin 20th to 10th. A lot of these guys have been making very good progress, taking advantage of misfortune around them and really just keeping things nice and steady.
Who was on the apron there just a second ago? Let me rewind that. Who was that?
I'm not certain.
I said there was a car coming up the speed. I wasn't sure who it was. Maybe I've seen the strategy of running the apron during caution laps to help save fuel, because that is the shortest way around. So someone in the back might be trying to do everything imaginable to save critical drops. Getting ready to go green. Pinero brings the field down, and we are back underway.
Pinero with the launch. Kennedy stays with him this time. A good launch from James Kennedy's number 16 machine, staying right with Pinero into turn 1. Mark Murphy kind of in the middle between them, not quite under pressure from his teammate Trey Shadid, but meanwhile Shadid's under pressure from Radicek for 4th.
There it is, and we're watching him go into turns 3 and 4. No moves that time. Each one of these guys on tires 19 laps old. Pretty well even. Right behind him, Drew White. We know him from our RIL Wednesday broadcast. He is currently in P6. And DL Lemon also from the Wednesday night broadcast. He is in P7 at the moment as he is continuing to run down Drew White.
Continuing to do so there, and looking behind them, Cesar Cabral and Logan Powers about to go at it for P8. Powers had a peak there through 3 and 4, and now he has a look to the inside as Cabral goes up high. Ooh, a little bit of a pinch there, and now Powers does get to the inside, side by side down the backstretch.
And we got another battle up front here between Shadid and Radicek. Radicek down low through 3 and 4 with that Oreo scheme. And he is still down at the bottom. But if he stays at the bottom going through 1 and 2, he's gonna end up pulling out this lead. And there it is right there. That's all you really need to do. The trick on this track is get yourself into position in 3 and 4 and then close the door in 1 and 2.
Indeed, rather similar to Texas Motor Speedway, but in the inverse. 3 and 4 here are the ones where you have to find the right track position rather than 1 and 2. And it's worked right now for Radicek, getting up to P4, and now he's running down Shadid's teammate Mark Murphy, as now Shadid has got Drew White to contend with behind him.
Getting a good run on that top side there.
Good run up on the high side. Same can be said for Cesar Cabral, getting back by Logan Powers. That battle for 8th still not going anywhere. And meanwhile, they're being joined by the 13 of Frank Irwin Jr. Now Powers gets a bit of a launch there off of a 1 and 2. Not enough to capitalize on it to make a move on Cabral ahead of him. Cabral still working that high line through 3 and 4.
Riding along Frank Irwin Jr. on his in-car, and he sounded loose going through 3 and 4 and had to roll out of it a little bit, and now that brings him into the clutches of Raphael David.
Raphael David all over his gearbox there, came very, very close to him. Tries to get the launch off the corner this time. We'll see if Frank Irwin still got those handling issues that you mentioned a minute ago. Does he get a bit loose again? Not quite that time. I guess he found something that worked for him.
We have a new leader.
Looking up ahead.
James Kennedy has worked his way around Adriano Pinero. That's something you do not see very often on the racetrack. Pinero actually getting past while racing.
And Pinero back down to the low line again, trying to get it back through 3 and 4. And he does indeed clear him this time, but Pinero not running away with the show. And here comes Mark Murphy now, trying to make it a threesome.
Chicken Pit Racing, here we go, and he's got the position down low. Now we're coming 3 wide off the corner, just like we did on lap 1, and also into the picture. Here comes Radicek. And Mike Murphy to the front.
Go.
Oh, we can't quite get it down on the bottom, though.
Not quite enough there. Pinero gets the launch off the corner. He'll still lead this lap. And now Kennedy and Radicek side by side into turn 1. Radicek will have the preferred line. No, he doesn't. He's actually getting cut. Azero getting cut off there. Kennedy still with him, side by side. Same can be said for the race lead now. Pinero still ahead at the moment. Trips up
Murphy with the crossover. Murphy with the crossover. He's going to try to go side by side and keep the low line through 1 and 2 and try to get the lead on that end of the racetrack. And he does.
The move he wants, and he does it. Mark Murphy moved that number 3 up to the race lead on lap 29. And now Pinero once again still trying to make it happen once again on the low side. Full play there, and he gets back up in front. This is the thing I'm talking about as well. It may not be an old IRL style pack race, but the battle for the lead positions will likely to be pretty tight tonight, and that's playing out.
Ooh, a little swerving down the backstretch, down low into 3 and 4. Again, not the faster line down at the bottom, but he's going to make good of it. They're side by side coming off the corner. Murphy by a nose at the line, going into 1. He'll get this lap led right here, pull off the pass. And now we'll see if Pinero can keep pace and follow suit in the 3 and 4. Pinero going to take a look down low in the 3 and 4.
Pinero with that great launch off of turn 2, clears him handily there. Drips back up to the higher line, reasserts that race lead. But looking behind him, that battle between Kennedy and Radicek has not dimmed in the slightest. Radicek does indeed make the pass up to P3, but once again, side by side for the race lead. Murphy clears him off of turn 2. Can Pinero get back at him again? Not quite this time. It looks like this will be Murphy's lap to lead, as we're nearing, getting that little bit closer to the halfway point.
And we're still about 20 laps away from, at the very earliest, these guys pitting, maybe a little bit longer with those cautions seen there. But it's Murphy, Pinero, here comes Pinero, taking a look to the inside now, going into 3 and 4. Murphy's not panicking, still a long ways to go. We're only halfway home here at tonight's Monday night Indy Fixed Top Split race on Race First, coming to you from Kentucky Speedway. And we're getting a real treat as we got a battle for the front pretty much all night long.
Very much so. Of course, these two know the game very well. Murphy, a very smart driver. He's still in the championship hunt. Same can be said for Adriano Pinero, the defending season champion last season. As, Pinero gets a little bit comfortable with that wall there off of turn 4. Murphy once again with the launch off the corner, still side by side. Murphy working that outside line in 1 and 2 now.
Wow, he made the outside line work pretty well there.
He's got it up there. He's got his nose alongside. Pinero does clear him this time as they get. Does Pinero get close to the wall? Not quite. It looks like he learned his lesson that time, as Murphy now goes back to the low line this time. Clears him going in. Meanwhile, looking behind him, Trace Shadid and Drew White were side by side in that battle for 5th, and Logan Powers now looking to join that fray.
Definitely hear them rolling out of it, not as fast as they were coming off of 3 and 4. These tires start to go away.
We are wearing out these tires a good bit now, certainly a lot more now than we were earlier on in the going when we had a lot of yellow. And that's one thing you start to see. You don't have the grip you did before. You'll need to roll out of the throttle, especially when you're in the dirty air of another car around you. Of course, you want to find the clean air, but it could well be that it'll just come naturally even if you have clean air in front of you, as we're still seeing Murphy and Pinheiro. Murphy led that last lap. Pinheiro once again with a launch down the back straightaway, and Felipe Radicic is definitely the interested spectator.
Yeah, you can just sit there and get some mileage off someone just poking a hole through the air there.
Definitely one of the smart calls. If you can stay up there now, there's no major pressure for you to make a move, as Pinheiro now makes a move once again on the low side in the 3 and 4. Radicic looked like he wanted to try something.
Yeah,
Not
he had
quite
to run.
that time.
He had to run, and he had to roll out of it, and it's cost him now because now there's a separation for the top two going in the 1.
Working lap number 40. Radicic still very much in the wheel tracks of the number 1 and number 3 machines of Pinheiro and Murphy. Murphy now looking everywhere down to the low side now.
He just sent it low. He wasn't going to give much of a choice there. He's like, yep, I'm going to go low this time through 3 and 4, whether you like it or not. And it's going to cost him a little bit of momentum, but he gets the lead by, again, a nose at the line. And he's going to have the lead coming out of 1 and 2 just by nature of how the racetrack is really configured down there, down the backstretch. Pinheiro's going to have a run up top through 1 and 2, but it's not going to be quite good until midway through this corner right here, and you'll really start to see the higher line start to come in. Nope. There it is, right there. But he's already on the front straight, and he's going to get lead by a nose. So I think the high line is starting to it's starting to even out with the lower line now.
That certainly seems to be the case. And bad news for Cristiano Benevento. He's had a connection failure.
Ooh.
He's had to see that for a number 15 machine. Rough going for him, as Pinheiro once again takes that race lead. Looks like he got a bit close to the wall for comfort there. Murphy still putting the pressure on him for certain. Working lap number 43. We're getting closer and closer to those pit stops.
Murphy just throwing it down in the turns 3 and 4 on the bottom there.
Sending it in, indeed. Mark Murphy, he's got the grip to make it work in situations where he's able to get his car into the position going into the corner that he wants, it seems. But that doesn't seem to be the most surefire thing. Pinheiro had to back out of it there. Here comes Radicic to the inside. Not quite doing it there. I saw Pinheiro had to back out of that, or else he was running right into the rear wing of Mark Murphy.
Yeah, we were on board Murphy when that happened. Murphy, not really, I thought he'd be changing some gears in 3 and 4, and he is keeping it in 5th all the way around. Sliding up in front to Pinheiro that time.
Seems to be giving him all the RPMs he desires, as Pinheiro now once again takes the race lead. Again, still drifting up. They seem to be drifting higher and higher as the caution is out.
Curtis Kelly.
Who it is.
Curtis Kelly back in P16. Let's take a look at what happened to him. Looks like he got loose. Coming off of, just coming off of turn 2.
Yep, single car incident for Curtis Kelly. And I believe that was Freddie Yudo Garcia he was near, but it doesn't look like any contact between the two. Just a small error leads to game over for Curtis Kelly tonight.
And the DHL Delara, he is done for the night there, getting loose off of 2. And guess what? I would imagine everyone's pitting now. So pit strategy is out the window, I would imagine. We'll see. Who does not pit? That might be the question.
It's like all the leaders are looking to come onto pit road. Indeed they are. This is trying to see if anyone plays an interesting hand, and looks like one of them is staying out right now. I believe those are lap cars though. Christopher Hamelink and Masato Shimizu staying out, but they are multiple laps down. Now the leaders head into their pit boxes. Murphy into his, Pinheiro into his. Now coming to the stripe, it's still going to be 1-2 for Pinheiro and Murphy. Radicic does beat out Kennedy for P3 once more. Tracia did in 5th.
Yeah, kind of your run-of-the-mill stops. Nothing really fancy there. Got to get some cars. Going to get some wave arounds right now. Again, if you're not very familiar with IndyCar racing, the leader always brings the field to restarts. If there are any cars in front of the leader, they will get the wave around, and they will be sent to the end of the field at the typically it's at the 2 laps to green mark. Sometimes it's the 1 lap to green mark. But those 2 cars you see right there in front of your leader, Pinero, we'll get the wave around here very, very shortly, and we'll get ready to go back racing.
And with all the leaders making pit stops just now, there's no doubt this is going to be a hard race to the finish. No one, as you said, strategy has gone out the window. We have the fuel, we have the tires we need. So these last 30-odd laps are going to be quite exciting.
Once again, if you're just joining us, you are watching RACEWEAR's coverage of the 4D RACEWEAR Monday Night IndyFix Top Split, coming to you from Kentucky Speedway, where Adriano Pinero, surprise, surprise, currently leads after 48 laps of 75 here in this evening affair. Thanks for joining us. Make sure to smash that like button, subscribe to the channel so you don't miss out on the next race.
And the big thing I'm wondering here, if I'm in Pinero's situation and I know that Murphy's got a quick car underneath him and we've been battling this long, I can imagine this is only going to get more and more intense as it goes on. Of course, they're both drivers that know each other very well. They'll play rather smart, I would wager. But I'm wondering what's going to be the bold move that seals the deal one way or the other. And of course, what can Radicic and Kennedy and Shadid have to say on the whole affair? We're about to find out.
Yep, I don't think we're going to have any fuel conservation. I don't think any of that's out the window. It is going to be decided on the racetrack with everyone's accelerator foot.
So looking at it, we're going to be, looks like it'll be 1 lap to green this time by, and Masato Shimizu, who is the first car behind the pace car right now, he'll be waved back around 1 lap. He'll be waved around the pace car. He was 5 laps down. Now he scored 4 laps down. Unfortunately, Shimizu was caught up in an earlier incident and largely just trying to salvage what he can and try to get as much spots as he can so as not to take as big a hit from this race as he could.
Pinero, Murphy, Radicek, Kennedy, Shadid, White, Powers, David Lemon, Ribeiro, and, well, actually, that's your top 10. Lee, Cabral, Irwin Jr., Garcia, and Eldred making up the top 15. I believe that is everybody on the track on the lead lap.
Yep, and of course, 2 other cars still running around the track right now. Christopher Hamlink and Masato Shimizu, though they both are multiple laps down and again in damage control mode from this race. They are still drivable, so they're just going to try and pick off whatever they can until the checkered flag.
Well, let's see what games are played here during the restart.
Everyone once again going up to that high line. You can't pass on the inside before you cross start finish. So that's why you see all the cars up on the top side of the track, waiting on the pace car to peel off. Field in the control of Adriano Pinero once again. Murphy, Radicic, Kennedy, and Shadid looking to hunt him down. Pinero gets on the throttle. Green flag flying. Murphy, a bit of a so-so start there, but Murphy can definitely climb back up from that. We saw it last time. Radicic now under pressure from Kennedy for 3rd.
Everybody with fresh tires. Time to go.
Meanwhile, I'm looking behind them. DL Lemon and Jill Ribeiro and Logan Powers battling it out there behind him. Ooh, almost contact. This is for 8th place. As Logan Powers up on that high line there, getting shuffled out by both Lemon and Ribeiro. But meanwhile, back up towards the front, Murphy has indeed caught up to Adriano Pinero for the race lead.
But they swap it back before that they can actually get it addressed at the start-finish line. Pinheiro keeps lead of the race.
Pinheiro
Credit for the
holding
lap.
that bottom.
Yep, that is the fastest line around here, and especially with new tires. Yeah, he's guarding the bottom too.
Playing major defense is Adriano Pinheiro. He knows Murphy will be looking for any sort of weakness he can. They head back towards 1 and 2. Will we see that again this time as Murphy's still right up there? He'll be looking to the outside now off of turn 2. Pinheiro holding the bottom. Murphy gets up right alongside him, side by side through 3 and 4. His wing's still there. Now he clears him. Can Murphy get the cutback this time? Not quite enough. But Murphy has got to run, no doubt, going into turn 1 this time. It may not be enough, but it could probably be enough to get up alongside him on corner exit. And it isn't, in fact. Pinheiro, at bottom line, working wonders so far. And again, Pinheiro playing a little bit of a windbreaker there.
Yeah, a little weaving on the backstretch there.
Indeed he was, playing a little bit of a draft snake this early on in the going, as we're going to have 20 laps to go this time by. A bit early to be doing the draft snake here. You normally would see that towards the very end.
Riding on board right now with Murphy in the chicken pit, the Lara. Oh, had to roll out of it just a little bit, getting that dirty air. Still maintaining pace there on the yellow line through the tri-oval.
Here comes Radicic to the outside into turn 1. Can Radicic get the momentum he needs to get by Murphy there? Murphy, as you said, he had to roll out of it a little bit, as Pinheiro still holding the bottom. Murphy up high. And again, it becomes the quandary. It may not be as big as other tracks, but you still have to find the clean air to get the most grip you can out of the car.
Right now, your top 5. Pinheiro, Murphy, Radicic, Kennedy, and Shadid. Right now, the battle really is for the top 3 spots. 3 wide going into 3.
3 wide going into turn 3. Radicic up high. Murphy in the middle there. Pinheiro holds on to the advantage through 3 and 4. He clears them, and still side by side between Murphy and Radicic coming to the tri-oval.
Man, to be in James Kennedy's shoes to see that develop. Whoa.
I think he's licking his proverbial chops in his helmet right now for this opportunity. If one of them makes an error, this could be a big boon for Kennedy. Murphy looking to the outside once again. Of course, Murphy and Pinheiro know each other very, very well. Radicic has been very smooth here tonight, but when it comes to winning this race tonight, I don't think they're going to be as cordial, shall I say.
No, certainly here with 15 laps to go, all bets are off. Side by side going into 3. Radicic looking in the middle, decides to go down to the yellow line, giving room to the top 2. They separate now into a single file line coming to the start-finish line in the tri-oval area. Taking a look to the outside, Murphy's going to try to get a run. The 1.
Murphy once again trying to work that top line. It seems to be working for momentum off the corner there, but it's not really giving him the run he needs in the entry and middle to really capitalize on it. Radicic, meanwhile, was trying the same thing Pinheiro did. He had a peek there, and again, Murphy very close to the wall. Murphy looking everywhere, and now once again forced to the outside into 1.
Yeah, Pinheiro is not giving up the bottom at all.
Definitely not playing. Kind of playing it the way Ed Carpenter did here at Kentucky Speedway a few times in the late 2000s, early 2010s when IndyCars raced here. Of course, the track was a lot wider, but I remember when in 2009 battling Ryan Briscoe to the end of the race. It was basically don't give up the bottom of that racetrack, but yep. Briscoe had it out in the end. Let's see if Murphy can pull off what Briscoe did here this time.
Almost 3 wide this time down the back stretch. I think Murphy kind of moved up to defend the position, so he's doing a little bit of offense and defense right now. It's all offense from Radicic's point of view. It's a little of both from the P2 perspective of Mark Murphy, and it's all defense from Pinheiro at the moment.
Meanwhile, I'm actually hearing on the radio Cesar Cabral and Gil Ribeiro had a close call there battling for 12th position, but this lead battle is just too enthralling right now. Murphy still looking for every which way he can get up there and try and get by Pinheiro. And Radicic trying to play the spoiler there, running right up on that rear attenuator of that number 3 is Filipe Radicic. Not quite enough to find the gap. Pinheiro doing a great job holding that bottom line. He knows that he's got to play defense here, but maybe Murphy, this could be something to consider. Murphy might be hoping that Pinheiro cooks his tires that little bit more, running that tighter line.
Yeah, and remember, Murphy was making passes for the lead midway through that very first stint. So maybe Murphy's a little bit better on the used tires, and we'll see here. He's getting a bit of a run now into the tri-oval. Take a look on the outside.
Could possibly be so. The stakes are a bit higher, though, of course, as we're coming down towards the end. We have 10 laps to go here at Kentucky Speedway. Coming to 9 to go. Murphy gotta pick his moment just right here. And Pinheiro, for his part, he has got to not make a single error. Murphy will take advantage in an instance, and so will Radicic. Radicic has been kind of playing the spoiler role here tonight. Can he indeed do that? With as much attention as we've given to Murphy and Pinheiro, we can't leave him out here. As now we also see James Kennedy.
Pinheiro getting friendly with the turn 4 wall. That might have cost him a little momentum.
Probably did a little bit, as Murphy can get his nose there. Looks like he can, if he can get a launch off the corner there. Pinheiro holding that bottom line off of 2.
Now, who would have thought the old IRL line actually had a use still here with this reconfigured track, but it's currently working at the moment.
Well, the more things change, the more they stay the same, it seems, here at Kentucky Speedway. Kind of running that IRL tactic here, but the racing is indeed close. And if one of them makes an error, you know this race is going to be turned on its head.
Yes, it is. And I'm thinking that Mark is trying to possibly try to set him up to get underneath him coming out of 2. That's going to be about his only hope right now, is to get underneath him coming out of 2.
That is the main way you can probably do it here. Pinheiro given free rein on that bottom line. It's the best defensive line you can take. Murphy looking every which way, trying to find a gap there on the low line. It's not going to be enough. Pinheiro still running way up high on corner exit. It doesn't matter to him, though, as Murphy now under more pressure from Radicic with 5 laps to go.
Eyes on the leaders. We're not taking them off right here. This is where the battle is. This is where we will stay. 3 wide, just about going into 3 and 4 once more.
Radicic had to back out once more there. Pinheiro, Murphy, and Radicic are your top 3. Murphy, he probably's figured out by this point that he's got one area where he's got to make a move. He can, and the best way to do it would be to get a run off of 4 and force it down low onto the apron to get up alongside Pinheiro and block out his way down to the low line. Coming to 3 laps to go. Pinheiro playing a very solid defense here tonight. Can Murphy get a run? Can Murphy find anything?
Ooh, I thought he was gonna work. There he goes.
Think he left a little bit of a teaser there on that low side there. Murphy trying to get the cut back low. But the gap, I fear, is a rather substantial one to close up on. He can close up on him going into 3, but by that point, one of your best chances is done and dusted. 2 laps to go. Again, you see Murphy not quite able to get up alongside. Pinheiro's got to hold on for one more for another victory. White flag in the air.
1.5 miles to go. Can he do it? He's done it so far. Here's your point of attack. Can Murphy make the move?
Murphy trying to get the run off of turn number 2. It's a bit of a big ask right now as they head into 3 and 4. And Adriano Pinheiro, a great battle all night long, but it is going to be Pinheiro winning the night at Kentucky Speedway. Murphy second, Radicic third, James Kennedy and Trace Shadid, your top 5.
Yeah, it really looked like that race was decided with about 2 to go, but beyond that, that was a highly entertaining race, certainly with the top 3. Very rarely do we see races where the top 3 are always in that close contact. Radicic just didn't really have any place to go, and Murphy couldn't quite get the momentum to get alongside coming out of 2 to get that run to go into 3 and 4, and that pretty much is the deciding factor here at Kentucky.
It certainly seems to be, and it's times where I kind of yearn for the times where the track was a bit wider. Maybe Radicic could have done something there. But it is Pinheiro doing donuts right here on the front stretch. Another victory for Pinheiro in his title defense.
All right, let's get this final standings up here. Pinheiro, your winner. Murphy, strong a podium. We'll be talking to him here, I'm sure, shortly here on the broadcast. Radicic P3, Kennedy P4, Shadid P5. Drew White, very consistent race, up to 6th. Raphael David, he had the biggest, I believe he was the biggest climber. It was him and DL Lemon, both with 14 spots gained. Stephen Lee, a great, very consistent top 10 on his part. Logan Powers, starting deep in the field, finishes 9th. Lemon finishes 10th. Cabral 11th, Ribeiro 12th, Irwin Jr. 13th, Garcia 14th, and Eldred 15th. The back half of the field, Shimizu, Benedito, Hamelink, Kelly, Silva, Musselman, Jose, Orman, Mercer, Forporti, and Eckert, all involved in that first lap incident. Probably going to be looking at that 10-15 race to make up and audit this one to make up that points lost in the I rating there. But that is your 26-car lineup tonight here on the Monday Night Indy Fix Top Split, brought to you by 4D Racewear.
Having a look, we do indeed have our second place finisher, Mark Murphy, to talk to in the interview room.
All right, we'll get him in here just in a second. And we'll bring them on in. Hey, Mark, thanks for sticking around. Great run. Just couldn't find a way around them, I guess, right? Mark?
You there, Mark?
Yeah, hold on just a second. Yeah, hey, can you guys hear me?
Yeah, we can hear you.
Yes, we do.
Yeah, congrats on that P2. You had something for mid-race. You got around Pinheiro, and you did some swapping of the lead back and forth, but it looked like just late in the race, you just couldn't find that way around them there at the end to get that win.
Yeah, we were playing nice there for the first 50 laps, and then the last 25, nice went out the window. He moved down a groove or two, and once that happened, I was gonna have to drive around him, and I couldn't get enough going on the outside to make it happen. And I was trying not to lose second because Phillip is fast and he's coming too, and so I had to guard the back door as well. Didn't have to do that for most of the first run, but my goodness, I hope that was as much fun for you guys watching as it was for us.
Oh, no doubt it was.
Yeah, talk about that first lap incident. I don't, it actually did happen in front of you there. What did you see from your point of view?
I said, "Oh no, not again." And then I saw him clear up the track and just dove low. It looked like they got to trying to block each other on the first lap, which is never smart. And either Eckert hooked for Forporti or Forporti hooked Eckert. It doesn't really matter. But they weaved and wove right into each other, and I saw two cars wrecking and one car in the air, and I turned left and said, "Please stay up there."
It's really all you could do in that instance.
Go ahead.
Yeah, I mean, and Steven, you've driven these cars enough to know, high speed oval set to turn left like that. They don't want to make any sudden movements. So that's
Oh no,
that's
they
the other
don't.
scary thing.
Exactly. It's really, really difficult for these cars to be able to adapt to a situation like that. And getting back to the whole battle between yourself, Adriano, and Philip, that looking at the whole battle, there seemed to be a bit of a pattern to it as time went on. Panero defending low down the backstretch there was really what seemed to be the killer there. Do you think that there was possible chances for you to take advantage of really take advantage of that and maybe make something happen?
Yeah, so I was trying to I knew I was gonna have to get under him. And I was trying to do that coming off of 4 because he would enter mid corner and hit the apex low and let it drift out to the wall. And I was trying to do the opposite, and I thought maybe I just could be able to get under him coming off of 4 because I had a lot of momentum coming off the corner and just never quite got there. But other than going to the apron down the back on the last lap, and by the time I got there, my right front was toast. But other than that, it was gonna have to be get under him coming off of 4 because you couldn't make the draft. And once he shut the bottom on the backstretch off, it's the way it is.
Next up, we got Indianapolis. I'm assuming we've done. All of us seem to have done a great deal of number of laps here at Indianapolis here in the last, I say, 6-8 weeks or so. So I don't know how much practice you're going to do, but are you all set for it and ready to see you next week on it?
Yeah, I mean, every time you go, it's a little bit different, right? They change the aero model, they change the tire model a little bit. They change it, they tweak the setup a little bit. So we'll do the normal. Trace and I'll do the normal program, and test and practice and prepare for it just like any other race, because I'm sure there'll be something about it that's different.
You got any shout outs, anything you want to say hi to while we got you here?
Yeah, I mean, hi to mom and dad at home, hi to Natalie and AJ watching in the next room. Thanks to Black Magic for the paint. They do an amazing job as always. It's a shame to see Trace make a small mistake because he was going to be right up there, and I don't know where he finished, but
Not bad, 5th.
Yeah, he was right behind me for most of it, so I don't. He got on radio and said he threw it away, whatever that means. But that guy just does a hell of a job all the time, and good for him. And once again, Gary, Steven, thanks a lot for what you guys do, and Matt and your team here. It's the privilege to race for you guys.
Well, thanks for being a part of it. We enjoy watching you guys every week. Get some rest, stay cool, and we'll see you at Indy next week.
Yes, sir. Gary, Steven, y'all have a great night.
Thanks, you too. So what I want to do here is, since we were having streaming issues and not everyone may have saw it, let's go back and let's watch the start of this race one more time. And we can show everyone kind of what was going on there. And we're getting ready to load back into the start of this. And we'll show everyone kind of that missed it what the fracas at the front was, because it got pretty hairy really early. And I want to say one thing about going 3 wide. There's nothing wrong with going 3 wide. There's a time and a place to go 3 wide, and I think going 3 wide into turn 2 on lap 1 at Kentucky while still coming up to speed probably is not the best thing to do, because we've talked about it a number of times here on the broadcast that the faster these cars go, the more downforce they generate, and sometimes when these cars are coming up to speed, they're kind of dancing, aren't they?
Indeed, they are, and I'm inclined to agree with your sentiment here that turn 2 on lap 1 is not the time that I would be wanting to go 3 wide, especially with a long race ahead of you. And sadly, that is what we saw, and it took 3 of the top 5 out of the race, as well as a few others that were just unfortunate enough to be caught up in the mess.
Here we are watching them get the green flag right now. Got the camera on for Porty. There's Orman up high. And now here's Eckert. He's going to, he gets the run on for Orman. He's going to go in the middle. And for Porty just comes up on Eckert. And it wasn't even a factor. I don't even think he got loose. We can watch it from multiple angles here. But that is the big one that really that most people miss because of streaming issues. So we'll show with the
and I believe it.
Go ahead.
Still don't. Yeah, like, and I believe actually that it's still not being seen right now. It's and it says the Be Right Back screen right now.
Yeah, we'll bring it back up. We'll bring it back up. Had to get everything all okay. So let's watch this again. And we'll watch it from a couple different angles. Let's go high from the race first one airship. And the overlay is starting to fight back on me right now.
Yeah, and here we go. And having a look at this lap 1 incident, and I was a bit I will say, like, I looked at it more that may have been a bit more on for Porty, but at the same time, it's hard to see the, like, it's always great to be going for positions, of course, and you want what position you can get, but going 3 wide on lap 1, usually not the solution for anyone concerned here, and that was a bit aggressive on both their parts, I think. And yes, for Orman, sad to say, he was the one that got caught up in the mayhem.
Yeah,
more people got caught up in the
mayhem.
Yeah,
there was a couple people that were innocent victims on that one, and we just watched it from Porty's point of view, and we didn't really see him getting loose. So just a bad week, a bad way to start the week for a number of racers here. And so they'll end up making that up, I'm sure, with one of the other races this week at Kentucky. Let's kill the overlay and restart her here before we so we can send everyone out of here. But that's what the incident was that most people missed when we were having streaming issues. So yeah, now everyone's caught up. You really haven't missed a thing because every other caution I think happened while we were on the news stream. So thanks for everyone's patience. Steven, I guess we're going to Indianapolis next week. Not much there is to say about it, but we could be looking at a slightly different setup, and we're not looking at the new version of Indianapolis yet. We have seen that and heard about it from iRacing over the weekend. And I suspect we will probably see that come NASCAR IndyCar weekend here in a couple of weeks. But new Indy on the horizon for sure. Maybe sooner rather than later. I'm kind of the opinion I'll believe it when I see it. But we're back to the same old here. Old reliable, let's call it, next week.
Indeed so, and if indeed it is the end, it'll be the end of an era. We've had this version of Indianapolis Motor Speedway basically since 2009. That was when the track was first scanned. So going to this new layout of Indianapolis, it's still, of course, going to be the Indy we all know and love, but of course, the old track will always have good memories, and this will be a great chance to make some last ones on the old Indianapolis layout before we move on to the more modern version of Indy. Of course, the biggest difference is the differences on the infield road course, but of course the track is paved a bit better, a bit newer paving to it, so it's going to be that little bit different, of course. So everyone's going to be going at it. Of course, the setups going to be a little bit different than last season, as they usually are. But Indianapolis is still the same old Indianapolis for now, and this will be the last one of the last chances for the Indy Fix guys to make some memories, and I think they can make some really good ones if what we saw tonight was any indicator.
Tonight's race coverage has been brought to you by 4D Racewear. 4Ds are the makers of ultimate gear and apparel designed specifically for sim racing. Check them out today at 4dracewear.com or click on the link in today's stream description. And if you use this coupon code today, you can get 10% off your next purchase. Here is this week's coupon code. It is unique for this week in this race. MNF10KY. Use that to get 10% off when you go visit 4D Racewear. And I really think that's about it. Indy's a home game for me, so I'm always looking forward to it. But much like you, I've been on the service now for about 2 years, and I'm ready to see a new Indianapolis. And for those that have been on the service for 2009 and longer and have just been on this version of Indianapolis, God bless your patience, because after a while, I think I would be kind of bored of it. But sometimes for some people, there's no being bored of Indianapolis. Of course, we've had changes of the tire model and the aero model over the years and different cars to make things a little bit different there in Indianapolis. But I suspect next week we'll probably be still hearing about the dreaded aero push much after the first couple laps of a restart, and that will be Indianapolis. But I would expect everybody to please tune back in next week and check it out, because it is Indianapolis, and Indy races are always big.
Oh yeah, the biggest race of the season. Here we come.
So that's it for tonight. Once again, your podium from Kentucky is Adriano Pinero with a great win. Mark Murphy tried to run him down, just ran out of time. And Philip Radicek, he just kind of hung out, watched, waited for something possibly to happen. Didn't really have a hole to kind of slide through there at the end, but hey, he got himself on the third step of the podium. And that, after especially the wrecks that we've seen tonight, probably not too bad. Join Steven and myself again next week for round 7 of the IndyFix Top Split of Season 322, coming to you from the racing capital of the world, Indianapolis, and the Indianapolis Motor Speedway. Coverage begins, as always, around 8:15 p.m. Eastern Time. That's 8:15 p.m. Eastern Time, and you can find everything here on YouTube at youtube.com/RaceFirst. Hey, we love bringing these races to you, but they are not easy, and they do require time and money to produce. Because of your generosity and donations, we've been able to bring you the last 3 IndyFix seasons for free. But if you share our passion for the sport of IndyCar and enjoyed our coverage of the Monday Night IndyFix Top Split, errors and all, please take time to visit our GoFundMe page. The link is in the description, and donate to our Season 322 Monday Night IndyFix Top Split broadcast fund. We realize times are always tough, so any contribution would be greatly appreciated. We thank you for watching and making us part of your Monday evenings each and every week. Now, as you know, the YouTube algorithm game is not easy, so please help support RaceFirst with the weekly grind and leave a comment below and let us know if you thought tonight's race. And if you enjoyed tonight's coverage, support us by smashing the like in the video, just like that. If you're new, click subscribe, and while you're at it, hit the bell for weekly reminders so you don't miss out more on RaceFirst's other iRacing programming, including Race versus Formula, the Race vs. Formula Indy Series on Tuesdays. We'll be doing that tomorrow night. Wednesday night, the Revolution Indy League Schaefer IndyCar Series. And on Thursdays, we'll be doing Brazil Stock Cars. And on NTT IndyCar Race Weekends, the Friday before, we'll be doing the 2 o'clock top split of the IndyCar iRacing Series on Friday. So keep your browser set here for the most in-depth IndyCar knowledge on all of iRacing. RaceFirst, we know what Indy means. For business inquiries to learn more about what RaceFirst and what we do, visit racefirst.com or follow us on Twitter. You can follow all of us on Twitter right here with our profiles right there. So for Stephen Larkamp, everyone at RaceFirst, I'm Gary Gatto saying all good night and thanks for watching. And to all of our men and women serving in the military and as first responders, Godspeed, God bless, and come home safe. Catch again next week for at the world's most famous race course, the Indianapolis Motor Speedway, for the next race of the 4D Racewear Monday Night IndyFix Top Split. Good night. Thanks, Mom.